Status Theory, Episode 12. Imagine you walk into a luxury store. The shelves are nearly empty. There is a single handbag on a white plinth under a spotlight. A few coats hang on a rack with space between every single one. There is almost nothing there to buy, and somehow that makes you want everything in it. This is not a mistake. This is a carefully engineered psychological environment designed to do one very specific thing: make less feel like more. Today, we're going to break down exactly how luxury brands use scarcity, space, restraint, and minimalism as premium pricing tools, and why it works so well on the human brain. Walk into a fast fashion store, and you will find density, racks packed tight, bins overflowing, every surface covered. Walk into a Bottega Veneta or Celine flagship, and you will find almost the opposite. Wide open floors, products presented with breathing room, staff who outnumber the items on display. This is deliberate. Research in consumer psychology consistently shows that product density, how tightly goods are packed together, is used as a quality heuristic. When products are crowded together, shoppers unconsciously code them as low value and common. When products are spaced apart, shoppers code them as rare, considered, and worthy of serious attention. A 2012 study published in the Journal of Retailing found that consumers rated identical products as higher quality and were willing to pay more for them when they were displayed with more space around them compared to when they were packed closely together. Space itself is the signal. The emptiness is the advertisement. Minimalism in luxury is not an aesthetic preference. It is a commercial strategy. When a brand removes ornamentation, simplifies its packaging, strips down its product design, eliminates unnecessary features, it is doing something counterintuitive. It is making the product more expensive to justify. The reasoning works like this. If something looks complex and ornamented, the brain can map the cost to visible features: gold hardware, visible stitching, embossed logos. These are legible justifications for price. But when a product is stripped bare, a plain leather tote with no hardware, a white ceramic object with no pattern, the price can no longer be mapped to visible features. The only justification that remains is invisible: craftsmanship, heritage, material quality, and the brand's reputation. This is extremely powerful because invisible qualities are impossible to disprove. You cannot look at a plain leather bag and prove it is not worth the asking price. The restraint creates mystery, and the mystery creates room for almost any price. Economist Thorsten Veblen noted this dynamic early. His concept of invidious comparison, the idea that goods communicate social distinction, applies equally well when the distinction is marked by what has been removed rather than what has been added. Restraint in physical quantity works the same way restraint in design does. When Hermès limits the supply of certain bags, it is not simply because it cannot make more. It is a deliberate strategy that turns the product from a commodity into a cultural object. The less available something is, the more the brain assigns value to it. This is scarcity psychology, well documented in behavioral economics.
Robert Cialdini, in his foundational book Influence, identifies scarcity as one of the 6 core principles of persuasion. People want more of the things they can have less of. Luxury brands architect scarcity at multiple levels: limited production, exclusive distribution, wait lists that require a purchasing relationship, items that simply cannot be bought. They must be earned through brand loyalty or social access. Every one of those layers adds perceived value. The object becomes more desirable not because its utility improved, but because the friction around it increased. The French luxury group LVMH, whose portfolio includes Louis Vuitton, Dior, Givenchy, and dozens of other houses, generated revenue of approximately 86.2 billion euros in 2023, according to its annual financial results. A significant driver of that performance is exactly this mechanism, controlling supply to maintain pricing power across economic cycles. Here is the paradox that makes all of this so psychologically interesting. Consumers generally understand at some level that simplicity is being used to justify high prices, and yet the strategy works anyway. In many cases, knowing the mechanism does not dissolve its effect. Why? Because the signal is not just about the product, it is about the buyer. When you purchase a deliberately minimal luxury object at a high price, you are communicating something about yourself, that you have the knowledge and taste to recognize value that is not immediately visible. You are demonstrating cultural fluency. You are showing that you do not need the logo explained to you. This is Bourdieu's cultural capital made commercial. The minimal object becomes a test. Do you see what is here? Only the people who already understand will. And that creates a self-reinforcing loop. The more a brand rewards insider knowledge, the more that brand becomes a vehicle for insider identity. The less it shows, the more it implies. The quieter it gets, the louder it speaks, to the right audience. The stores are not empty by accident. The products are not plain by mistake. The supply is not limited because of production constraints. All of it is architecture. Architecture for your perception of value. Luxury brands have discovered that the most powerful pricing tool is not the feature list, it is the feeling of privilege. And privilege, above all else, is about access to something that most people cannot have, understand, or even fully see. Less is more, but only if you know what you are looking at. Subscribe to Status Theory for weekly videos on the psychology of wealth, taste, and power. Every episode reveals something that was always hiding in plain sight.